Mark Shepherd and Tony Holgate with you for this one. Good afternoon, Tony.
Good afternoon, sir. Well, what a load of rubbish that first game was. Bore fest. Yeah, so go back to what the guys are saying. I mean, I was watching over their shoulders here in the commentary box, and that 6-red shootout with Cousins and Lambert, my word. I'll tell you what, it will be a long, long time before you see anything quite like that again. When Cousins knocks in the time he did, I said that's over. There's no way that's getting beat. And then the way that Christoph popped that break open, and I'll tell you what, and he stopped. He had quite a little hesitation because there's one red. He didn't realise he didn't pass. He had to run around and change his mind. He could have had the record. It would have been very close to Brian Halcrow's mythical, let's say 15:09, I believe it is, that stands the official record.
Yeah, it's very hard to see that being beaten because he potted 2 off the break in a way you just never normally see.
But what a fantastic game. Anyway, we shall move on and up. He's here at the table, Jimmy Croxton. Jimmy the Joker. Like you said, he's playing Jack Whelan now, who's sat in the background. And this prompts us to be a very intriguing battle indeed.
Nice to see Jimmy back in action in the main arena. He's had a few health issues, some problem with his eyes, which is obviously not helpful when you're playing pool. So missed an event earlier in the season, and then at the last event was kind of trying to play his way back into it. Had a run in the pairs, playing with Liam Highfield. I think that's probably given him a bit of confidence to get back to the top level of the game.
Well, I think he's upped his time on the table as well. And I had a little chat with him earlier, actually. I was walking up round the corner, out in this fresh breeze here in Blackpool, and Jimmy saw me walking towards him and tried to turn the other way and go and hide, but I clocked him as he's laughing. He's coming down the street, and he said, he said, I've got a bit more time now just to play, and he said, and all the big boys, he said that they're playing all the time, and Jimmy wasn't playing much because obviously he had his problems with his eyes and a couple of issues, and if you can't properly see the balls, you can't practice properly. So, he hasn't, I think he missed a couple of events. When he did play, he was sort of dispatched quite early, because this is the highest level. But like you say, it's nice to see him here, last 16. Be a bit annoyed with that shot, though.
Yeah, he knows what he's up against with Jack Whelan. These two know each other well. Jack Whelan hasn't played that many Pro Series events this season because he was away in China for one of the previous events, but he's already got one tournament win, one Pro Series 4.
Yeah, Jack, another player clocking up the old air miles. Plays the loss of turn. Leaves Jimmy in a bit of a pickle here. The only saving grace for Jimmy Croxton is, if you look at the yellows of Jack Whelan there's 2 very average yellows on side cushions. So there will be some work to be done. I think Jimmy will probably attempt to hit the red that's next to the black, because hitting the other red might knock Jack's bad yellow off that rail.
Not far away from potting it in the end. That would have been a very acceptable result. It's not a terrible outcome though, as you say. Still a couple of yellows in tricky spots. Jack Whelan's always a really fierce competitor. Bookmakers had him second favourite for the tournament before the start of play. No real reason to change that assessment. He only dropped 3 frames in his first 2 matches.
Yeah, quality player Jack. The Wonder Whelan. As in, I wonder what he's going to do with those 2 yellows on the cushions.
Yeah, we've seen these pockets play fairly tight, so leaving the ball down the rail from where the one is on the right-hand side isn't likely to be something you'd want. So it looks like he's bailing out of the clearance. Well, he's not played the best shot there. He's left the potting angle of the ball at the top of the table. If he has, he's left a nice angle for Jimmy to screw out for the other ball.
I'm not sure he's just got enough of this red. But the way Jimmy's getting down, he must think he can make it.
I couldn't quite see enough of it. Well, again, not quite as played.
No, that'll be annoying there for Jack, because he's obviously wanted to leave a snooker. But the way those yellows just bumped apart is now leaving, obviously, Jimmy to see full ball of this red. He can also clip off the one at the top if he so wished.
The problem Jimmy's got is the numerical disadvantage in the balls makes it hard. Jack's always going to have more options in this safety exchange. Jack's got to be a bit more careful now because the two reds are close together and the bottom one is in pretty open play. Would really like to try and promote the ball that's on the right cushion below the middle pocket, but couldn't risk doing it from where he was. That's a better shot though.
Nice touch there by Jack, clipping the very thin edge of that yellow to come off the round back in, tucks in behind the other one.
Not a difficult hit for Jimmy, but if he just hits the ball full on, he's going to leave Jack right in amongst the balls in the middle of the table. Well, better than leaving ball in hand, because Jack has still got two balls that are in semi-difficult positions. He's got the luxury of time though. If he doesn't want to go for it, he can just continue to perfect his balls, just keep it safe, don't leave Jimmy too much of a sight at anything. And that's a good shot. When a ball's frozen to the rail like that, it's quite easy to double kiss it playing that shot. Judged it well. Just feels like Jimmy's having to chase this a bit at the moment. Anything short of potting the red, which isn't very likely from where it is not really gaining much advantage. Trying to play kind of off the side of that red, hoping you might just sneak in behind it. The rule is you've got to hit the cushion after you make contact with the object ball, so it wasn't like he could just come off two rails and rest on the back of it. He had to hit it hard enough that he was going to make another cushion.
Gone too far.
And this is the first proper chance Jimmy's had. It's not an easy one, but he's just got one shot to make.
He'll be very happy with it because he hasn't been able to see anything at all, half balls. But this is a genuine opportunity to nick the frame.
Didn't fully commit. He could have made a case, I think, for screwing across to the side cushion to play it a bit more firmly. Tried to control it. Jack Whelan's in for his first proper chance of the frame. Slightly scrappy frame so far, although some good shots played from both of them in that safety exchange.
Eating up nearly 10 minutes of time as well when it's finished.
Yeah, not something you'd expect really. Jimmy normally plays the game in a fairly open way. Just happened to be where the balls were.
Didn't play that shot all that well. Jack Whelan there didn't want that kiss where he pushed the ball on the bottom. Nice recovery shot though from Whelan.
Yeah, it was. He got down and played it quickly.
Yeah, I don't like them shots. The thin cuts along bottom rails. Lovely use of top and right hand side there by Whelan. And it's going to be the wonder to go 1-0 up.
Not altogether convincing, but happy enough to get the first frame on the board.
Unbelievable.
It's obviously a cold weekend and it's cold outside, but it just happened that this main room was a good few degrees colder than the rest of the venue.
I was just waiting for that yellow to drop over that top left-hand corner there, and so was Jimmy, I think. And it's just managed to hang, and it's going to be Jack Whelan straight back at the table.
Jimmy would openly say that the break isn't the best part of his game. Actually hit that pretty well. He's got a lot of balls at the top. He was a bit unlucky that nothing found a pocket. Jack will be happy to have won that first frame, but I think he'll want to try and get a bit more fluency going. Really the way he'd have wanted to win it. It took a while to get over the line.
Do you know what I'd be tempted to play there is the yellow along the top rail into that red. If you can make that plant there, play the loss of turn and stick the cue ball behind the red at the top of the table. And it's a bit of more of a daring sort of shot, but I'll tell you what, it wins the frame if you get it.
Yeah, that's the problem area for sure.
Now is he looking at playing the yellow that's just next to the bolt line off the red into the corner? I'm not sure if that goes. Okay. Well, he's putting his way into a bit of bother here. It's Jack Whelan.
Yeah, he's got a real problem with the yellow that's directly above the cue ball. Might just about be able to get the other one past the red to plant top left, but he's going to have to make something happen with the ball above the cue ball.
Well, he made the attempt to try and nudge that yellow out at the top, and this has all gone a little bit sour for Jack Whelan. Yes, he still has a cut along the top rail. He's having a look to see if that yellow might just dribble into the middle. That is mega tight. I'm going to say, well, even if you're right behind that, you can put it there with your hand. That's ridiculously difficult. I don't think it goes, really.
Yeah, he was always asking a lot with that shot. If that ball did stay over the middle pocket, it would be kind of makeable because he's got a decent angle on the ball along the top rail, even though it's not a guaranteed pot. He's just going to have to commit to playing down for some kind of double on the yellow on the left-hand side. Well, let's try to play with a lot of side and get over into it. That always looked like an ask. The only thing was, I suppose, playing that with the left-hand side some ways made the pot easier, or at least it didn't make it more difficult, so maybe it was worth a try. Decent layout for Jimmy. He's got the one red, obviously, that's tied up with the plant, but you can play either a cannon into it or be an easy loss of turn. You can play the cue ball tight into the red that's on the left cushion, or just safe at the top of the table, leave Jack with no kind of shot.
Yeah, you could get me sort of to the side of it and play the plant and put the cue ball behind that red as well. Leave him completely snookered.
I feel like that is the shot, unless he lands a perfect angle to break it out. Pretty much guaranteed snooker played like that.
I think this is what he's going to do now. Just play off the side of this and try and put the cue ball behind the red and knock in the yellow in. Opt for the other way. Either or was good enough. Lots of side off the bottom rail now for Jack. A bit more than that. I thought he might play it a little bit softer.
Well, I think he needed to play it a bit softer for the side to take. Played at that pace. It's an ask to swerve off a cushion. The spin isn't really taking effect, so he just bounces off kind of straight.
So Jimmy Croxton with what looks like a pretty simple finish to level things up here at the Grand Hotel in Blackpool.
As well, that red getting knocked further down the table, so natural position onto the 8 ball. lot of time used up for these first 2 frames. 15 minutes gone already.
Yeah.
Jimmy had to really dig into the cue ball on that last shot to kill the pace. Judged it nicely. Not entirely convincing by either player, but signs of them both playing well. Just need to get a bit more consistency going. The Brian Halcrow one was at the end of a long day. That wasn't actually a particularly, at the time, high tension situation. It turned into it once he started racing around the table. Before, Jack would really just like to get going with a fluent clearance, but the ball's not quite cooperating. The red's better spread out, but the fact that that one tied up with the 2 yellows probably leans towards yellow having to be the choice. Well, in the end, his choice was to play a safety, but he spotted a red in the process. Going to have to commit to it now. It's the kind of shot that if somebody had said double up ball off the top cushion into the middle pocket, you'd have said it was a high tariff shot, which is why he didn't really consider it was any realistic chance of going in. Wasn't tempted there by covering the bottom left-hand pocket because it would have been too easy a loss of turn for Jimmy, which is why he's just trying to play a kind of containing shot where he just makes a mess of things. And attempting not to leave the obvious loss of turn, leaves a different one, and that's a good shot from Jimmy because now he's got control somewhat over that side and leaves Jack a pretty limited shot. Obviously not going to be tempted by anything attacking here. It's got a choice of fairly straightforward snookers he can play. This is the more difficult one to guarantee a snooker, but he wants to promote these 2. Well, I thought he would have wanted to promote those 2 balls. I'm not sure quite why he's played it like that. You think he'd play it a bit more firmly, try and get the cue ball further over to the right hand side.
And once again, we're having a frame that's chewing into the clock. Could be one extreme to the other. So you had 6 all in the 6 red shootout. This one could be 2 all in the 6 red shootout. Probably not that low, but it's certainly it's not flowing.
No, sometimes the first frame can just set the pattern for the match. Jack will have started as favourite in most people's mind, given he's been in better form, won an event this season, and Jimmy's been kind of coming back from not playing so much. But at the same time, no one underestimates Jimmy Croxton. Very experienced and very dangerous player. On his day, he can blow anyone away. Slight signs of frustration from Jack. You do see that sometimes. He's somebody that isn't afraid to give the table a rap if he doesn't think things have gone well. I don't think that's necessarily any indication that he's not in a good place to play the match. Just wears his emotions a bit more openly.
Jimmy there just brushing into the 8 to try and free that yellow, which I believe he can just about get to it to pot it now. So he's got this little plant in the bottom corner.
This is why earlier on I was saying he might have hit these 2 balls a bit harder. It was okay as a plant, but it left it a little bit more difficult.
Played that nicely. He played the plant and obviously using the cue ball there to come up the table to get rid of this yellow that's on the brown spot. Nice angle to come back down. And we could see Jimmy Croxton getting into a 2-1 lead.
That was a good positional shot to get the ball at the top of the table because that plant wasn't dead set. Well, this isn't a good positional shot though. He's going to be lucky if he's finished on anything here.
Another plant required.
And this is really awkward because it's tight even to get past the 8 ball. That was careless. He played the difficult positional shot, got into prime position. Could afford it to be a foot or more shorter of this position. Oh, good effort, but always a difficult plant. Got some security, the fact that there's a red over that side. Kind of been the tail of the match, hasn't it? Somebody gets in with a half chance, but doesn't quite seem to be able to get it done in one visit. Play for the double now. If he'd have had a slightly straighter angle, might have tried to play down behind the red or force it out. I think he's got too much angle for that here though. Well, actually had a gap 3 to play the loss of turn. That serves him even better.
Yeah, it's a good shot there from Jack Whelan. Now it's Jimmy that's in the cart.
And with that one shot, when you first looked at that table, you were thinking it was going to be hard to leave it safe, which is why I was talking about him going for the finish. That one loss of turn has really turned it around. There's his luck.
Not bad.
Not bad at all. Jack may be able to get through to the one over the pocket, which...
Yeah, I think he can now then. It's tough, but he could play this with a lot of side and top. You can play this softly and try and get on the red into the bottom left-hand corner, but I don't think it will take up. I think I'll play this with a lot of power and try and kick into red and black. We'll play softly and kick into red and black. So he's got himself a chance. It'll be a long pot now into this top left-hand corner. Screws the cue ball into the side rail. It will come back out for the black then, should he make the pot. If it doesn't, he's going to leave Jimmy Croxton a nice simple yellow in the middle. Okay, the top spin. I would have been tempted just to punch just beneath halfway that cue ball there, and I'd have been right close to that black, because I'd have fancied getting that, to be fair. But anyway, this for 2-1 for Jack Whelan. And that frame went backwards and forwards. A few shots ago, Jimmy Croxton was a big favourite in that frame, but Jack Whelan, with his loss of turn, came back and pinched it. You know, in a race to 7. There's been, I think, there's been a 5-4 or a 5-4.
Yeah, I can't think of any less than a 5. I suspect there have been, certainly in the last couple of seasons when we've been playing with a 50-minute match clock, the 6 red sheet-outs and the clock being a factor have been much less of an issue. A couple of seasons ago when we played with a shorter match clock, it was more common to see matches not go the whole way. There have been matches certainly that have threatened. There was a match in the Pro Cup a couple of years ago that for a moment looked like it could end 1-0. It was almost a sort of stalemate situation, but funnily enough, it actually then ended up, after well over half the clock was used up with that early exchange, it then turned into a pretty quick match after that and went to a conclusion, but it was one that for a moment looked like it could set a new record. That is the thing though, the matches can kind of swing around, and this one could easily be the same. It's been a slow start, but not to say that somebody won't find their gear.
Opening now for Jack Whelan after Jimmy Croxton's miss.
Good chance here to get ahead by 2 frames. I think that's what Jack needs, really. He's always looked likely to be the one that's ahead in this match, but it's just been scrappy enough. Well, so say that. What have we seen there?
Did he have a kick on that? It looked like he played it with a little bit of left-hand side and the cue just didn't react. I think this is a kick. That's a kick.
This is a hard thing to happen.
Hence the referee coming in and cleaning the cue ball. Yeah, he's had a kick there, it's Jack Whelan. You see, he's playing that with left-hand side to just follow the cue ball into the rail and come back a little bit. Jimmy short. Another frame taking its time to unfold.
Yeah, that's not the best shot from Jimmy, having had that let off. Still got a pot, but he's got 2 problem balls, the one on the left-hand side cushion and the one at the bottom of the table. Could solve them both here. Play the back double, cue ball around the back of black and yellow.
No man's land. But I do remember last year when Jimmy did have that problem with his eyes and he went to the optician and he said, "Can I help you?" He said, "I've come about my eyes." He said, "Well, you do want them looked at because this is a fish and chip shop." Too early.
See, you've made good use of the first 25 minutes of the match with lining that one up. Have been some slow moments in play. I don't blame you for allowing your mind to wander.
My mind's not wandering.
Meanwhile, Jimmy's played a good shot actually, because he's now got an angle to drift over off the left and right hand side cushions and drop in behind this red.
Now this looks very good. Oh, what a shot there from Jimmy Croxton. That's his best shot of the match. Great position. Pull one out the fire here is the joker.
Yeah, it was a poor first shot of this visit, but it was a very good couple of shots towards the end.
Each frame's been a bit scrappy, or it's developed into a little bit of a tactical battle. And I think, you know, both players would have wanted this open and, you know, finishes from the break and a lot more swashbuckling, let's say, but it's just not been played in that manner. So we have another look at Jack Whelan's break. Now Jack, I think, will have an air of frustration in his body. Not a great split by any stretch of the imagination.
Yellow balls.
Of course, after this we will have one more last 16 up for your entertainment today before we move into the quarterfinals, and we will show all of those, both semis and the final, which will be on all day and obviously into the evening.
I think it's a bit easier to follow the narrative once you start seeing all of the matches. So inevitably at the beginning we're bringing you coverage of a selected few. But you earn your right to get onto the main TV table for an extended period by keep winning your matches. Very different sort of day for the players that make it through to the final. It's much more back-to-back as we get towards the business end. Maximum of 3 matches played for anyone yesterday. These two only had 2 rounds beforehand, so game yesterday afternoon, game yesterday evening. Back here today for this one. good effort, but that was asking an awful lot. If there was ever enough spin he could get on to take quickly enough to banana around into that cluster.
Yeah, to get that heavy push with sided, the cushion needs to be a little bit more worn, I think, to really grip, because these are brand new. To get that action, you have to punch down on the cue ball on a new table, and then that just basically you have the cue ball bouncing around the table. Jimmy's played the loss of turn there, but I think he's handed half a chance here to Jack Whelan.
Yeah, I think the idea was okay. He's just come up a couple of inches short with the cue ball. If that cue ball gets right to the top cushion, he's got Jack in a bit of bother. He's left a tricky but makeable clip. It is tricky though, bridging over that ball.
Well, that's a nice little angle, thank you very much.
Yeah, he'll take that.
Oof. That is absolutely, looks bang on.
To get into it enough to make the cannon, so had to leave the plant. Should be okay here, but you can see it's not completely set, so he's going to have to play it in a way that he promotes the second ball into a possible position.
I thought he was a little bit gentle with that screw shot. I thought he was a bit jabby. I think he could have maybe pulled it back a bit further. This might go clean in the pocket, you know. It did.
Could get through. Well, that's a real bonus.
Well, I looked to the overhead there. I thought that might go past, you know. And it did. And Jack Whelan is going to go 3-2 up.
Well, definitely the right shot if it went clean. And that's a good finish in the end from Jack Whelan.
Flies off there.
Not sure what he's trying to say here. Is he trying to say that the table isn't flat, or is he just letting off a bit of steam between frames? Positives though, 3-2 up. Given the way the match has gone, I think any scoreline was possible. That's way Jimmy's best break of the match though. Potted a ball, and look at this for a split. Yellows will be his choice, but both colours pretty good. Immediately not the best positional shot. It looked like he could find an angle down the left-hand side of the table, but it's come over to the right-hand side.
He's not too bad, Mark. He plays this and the cue ball should run just past that red or into it. As long as he doesn't leave himself there, bridging over it. Those shots, you've got to play a little bit firmer to make sure that cue ball goes past the red. So you get all your hand on the table. You can have access to all of the cue ball with your tip. So now this has just been made, I don't know, a couple of notches harder. Only roll in though. Jimmy's back in position.
Yeah, I mean, very often it's just a case of trying to make life easier to reduce the chance of a mistake. He's now got another one where you don't imagine a problem, but he is dead straight pretty much on this yellow, so he just has to think a bit more carefully about position.
Feels a little bit like the plays have quickened up a little bit now as well. Just, I was about to say the standard's risen as Jimmy sticks himself with his last two balls.
Yeah, I mean, I just think this has been sort of building up for a couple of shots.
Again, Mark, he has space and area to get that cue ball past the red and the black and play it firmer. And it's just, it's very gentle. Trying to be too precise, maybe. You think, right, if I screw into that area and get past that red, there's no problem. Even if you went too far up, you've got the other yellow you could be on as well. So, you know, just, for me, a tad careless. Jimmy would probably slaughter me for it. But I shall stand by my guns with that.
Well, you've got to say it's careless in the context of the match, because he had a great chance to go 3-all, and instead of which, by giving away ball in hand, he's allowing Jack onto the only difficult ball on the table. Very likely to find himself 4-2 down. Often that's the goal of positional play. It's just to take out finishes in a way that you don't leave yourself the chance of a mistake. A little heavy there.
Was a bit heavy.
Should still be okay. It's just left this in a way that is missable. You wouldn't expect him to miss it, but it's not 100 out of 100 from that position.
Nice nudge. That was a perfect little half ball nudge into that red. I'll tell you that now, because that's just connecting out to the 3 reds at the bottom of the table. And those 2 reds are available in the bottom right, so he's just there. You see where he wants the cue ball. If you get the cue ball there, he's got choice of position then, and the frame's dead. And this is a big and important frame at this stage in the match. This is for a 2-frame lead. And you see the clock, we're under 15 minutes now. So this is huge for Jack.
Yeah, he played a really good shot, that one along the top rail. Showing signs of playing well. It just feels like he's just a ball or 2 away from really being in the right zone. It's going to be quickly forgotten though if he can get this to 4-2. Clock's going to be running down.
Oof. He's not stuck to that yellow, surely not. I think he's got just enough room. He can pop that red into the corner, send the cue ball into the black ball, hold for the red.
Yeah, it's lucky the black is where it is, because that makes the position easier.
Oh, got away with one there.
Yeah, he really has. He's not played around that side of it at all.
He hits that thickery snooker. You know, you want us to just pop straight into it, you know, full ball. And this could be, you know, playing in China with, you know, a bigger tip or whatever, and obviously different sized balls. You know, this is the thing, when you jump from one to the other, you control with this game. Well, I think it then becomes a lot harder. Some of it's guesswork. But he's okay. And now has a simple black ball for a 4-2 lead.
Well, 4-2 it is. It didn't look entirely convincing. Both players, it was the same kind of thing, just didn't quite seem to have the cue ball. Normally one of the best breaks in the game. Taking a little bit of pace off versus some of his breaks, but still plotted 2 balls. This is a key frame now. 5-2, and this match is going to be close to over. Although you can hardly say any match is over with a 3-frame lead after the one we witnessed before, the Tom Cousins-Christophe Lambert match.
An incredible game of pool. J-Mo wondered if it was one of the best, or the best game he's ever commentated on. And that tells you the story in itself.
Yeah, it's one of those games where you need something from both players. One-sided matches are never the best ones. It was the fact that they were both playing some unbelievable stuff, and then obviously capped off by certainly the best 6-red shootout in terms of the aggregate of the 2 times.
And that's perfect position now for Whelan. He's bang on that yellow that's in between the 2 reds at the top. This route. Pop these 2 yellows in on the left hand side, get the cue ball up to the top rail, for the second and lowest yellow, which should be in the top right-hand corner. So it's nice and easy to guide the cue ball down off the cushion just before the middle and down for the yellow at the bottom, which is the easy connected to the black.
And having been slightly critical of his cue ball control in the last frame, you'd have to say this has been
He's
pinpoint the whole way.
He's found a gear. He's now found a gear that's workable. And this is going to be 5-2 now to Jack Whelan. Left himself the angle. So just brush this cue ball down the table, just off the cushion, just before the middle. And that's pretty good. You heard that little bell in the background. We are going down to 15 seconds a shot. You could done with another roll there, Jack. So now it's going to be come behind the red and have the black in the same pocket as the yellow.
And this is by far the best he's looked in this match. This is the
Perfect.
first frame when he's looked really settled and like making a first visit clearance with assurance. The other ones have all felt like a bit of a struggle.
Yeah, much, much better there from Jack Whelan.
There's Jimmy's break, so chance to make something happen. And a good last break, but then just didn't quite capitalise. This time he's come up dry though. Not only has he come up dry, but he's spread the balls pretty nicely.
I believe the match that follows this is Declan Brennan and Luke Gilbert. That'll be a good game as well for a place in the quarterfinals.
Yeah, Declan's been one of the players of the season, second only to Tom Cousins. Definitely found some form. He's one of those players that have been kind of knocking on the door for the last 2 or 3 years, but just seems to come back into really prime form lately. Luke Gilbert's been a winning machine over the last few seasons. Just still a young guy, but getting better and better. It was about how he got the connection. The balls at the top of the table were fine. It was just getting into this little cluster at the bottom. Well, I was going to say, can he get enough side on that to hold the cue ball? He did get enough side on, but at the cost of the pot. That was asking an awful lot. He had a lot of angle to work with there, trying to kill the pace of the cue ball. So now, time for Jimmy Croxton to go to work. 7 minutes 50 on the match clock. Needs to win at least 3 more frames to stay in this tournament. Oh, again, not the best position. I think he's going to get away with it, but that wasn't quite how he played that. As a result of that, although he's landed on a choice of 2 pots, he's not landed on either in a way that gets him into the difficult ones on the left-hand side. It's all about how he opens up the 2 balls that are tied up together. Got to leave an angle this time.
Yeah, lots of top right-hand side on this to try and disturb those 2 yellows. Got into them, but just a little bit thin, and the cue ball's now going to be not in the greatest position behind that black ball. Jimmy looks up to the skies.
That's why you never really love leaving that kind of cannon until... Oh wow.
Hello.
How's that? How's his luck? Well, his luck was obviously good with the first part. How's his luck with the second part?
I think he can just about sneak this in. Well, well, well.
Well, it looked like he'd let this frame slip, but this is going to be special if he gets out from here.
Is there a twist in the tail? Oh, what a magnificent finish there from Jimmy Croxton. That will be for the highlight reel. Wow.
Look at this. Almost potted both of them. Just about landed on the second one. And then even the black didn't go, so to play black off red into the corner pocket.
Yeah, it's a special finish there from Jimmy Croxton. 6 minutes and a second on the clock. So still time for Jimmy Croxton to stage his comeback. Is this going to be dry? It is. Jimmy's out of his seat.
Well, you don't get many dry breaks from Jack Whelan. Could this be the chance that Jimmy needs? It's not an easy one, but he'll be happy to get back to the table.
Must-win frame here for Jimmy Croxton. He's going to play this plant down here. Red, yellow, red. Corner. Made it, but he's ended up stuck behind the red he struck. It will go into the top right-hand corner. That's got the legs. I think it's going to die on him. Just because the cue was very, very close to that ball, he's sort of flicked it a little bit. Probably a little bit worried about where the cue ball came back towards his tip. You've got to, it's quite awkward to get the your cue out of the way when you play that shot. So a bit of clock management now, I think, for Jack Whelan.
Yeah, he's not in a rush to do anything, that's for sure. Jimmy needs 2 more frames. So the fact that there's only 4.5 minutes remaining. If a couple of minutes were to get used up messing around here, that will be very much in Jack's favour.
Yeah, well, Jack would quite like that little cluster of reds all stuck together at the top. Jimmy's going to try and open them up now. And he has done.
Oh, that's turned out pretty good.
Ooh.
Well, I say it's turned out pretty good.
It has.
It's turned out very good if you can play the plant along the top rail.
He can.
It's got an angle to get into the ball. The shot after this, you can play the ball over, well, either of the 2 balls remaining and cannon out, or just drop in behind the plant up to the top right.
Play it now. Can't play it after because you're pushing the second red. You can run a chance of not getting on it.
This is pretty natural as well. Just roll this in, I'll be able to see the one over the middle pocket.
Well, we're seeing a bit of drama here late on. From what was a pretty timid and tepid a counter to start with, is now turning into something, a bit of excitement starting to build in this match. Jimmy Croxton now to make this 5-4. This will be 2 in a row in quick, smart fashion.
Much better from Croxton.
Well, here we go. Jimmy Croxton to break. Needing 1 frame to draw level. He needs this frame. And where's the cue ball gone? And he will be absolutely livid with that. Straight in off into the corner. Massive relief for Jack Whelan. On top of that, Jimmy had made a ball as well. Not that it was the easiest finish in the world, but he would have been at the table. This is now about Jack Whelan killing time using the extension. As you see, he will run that clock down to the last 2 or 3 seconds before he plays his shot.
Yeah, it's not a simple enough layout that he's...
I'll tell you what, he ran that very close there.
Yeah, time foul would not have been good with an open table.
No.
It's not a simple enough layout that he's guaranteed the finish, so he's going to pot a few loose ones and just try and use up a bit of time just in case he misses. In fact, Jimmy's got that one very difficult red tied up with the 2 yellows at the bottom of the table. Means that even if he does come back to the table, it's not going to be easy to make a quick clearance. Jack just bail out and play a containing safety here.
I think so, yeah. I don't think...
Ooh, very close to a foul.
He doesn't want to put too many of his yellows. He wants to leave things that are in the way. for Jimmy to make it the finish. So great shot there from Jimmy Croxton. So Jimmy Croxton's all in. We've got that red at the bottom of the table. That's obviously the main problem.
Yeah, he's got one chance here. He can't afford to miss, and he can't afford to play a safety because I don't think he's going to have enough time now.
No, I think the next shot's key. He's still going to have over a minute after Jack plays his shot, but does Jack now pot one? I don't think he does. Braver than I would have been. I wouldn't have been anywhere near that black ball. My luck, or the way I'd execute it, I would have probably knocked that in and gifted the frame to my opponent.
Does Jimmy throw his arm at this red that's on the bottom cushion, try and pot it somewhere? Because if he doesn't, I don't think he can get out in time. Oh, that was.
That was some effort.
If that ball drops, they're all there for him.
Yeah, he was unlucky there, Jimmy. That was very, very close to being an incredible shot. We tried to bump the red centre cue ball into the red over the middle and knock it in.
He has run out of time now, though. There's going to be no comeback from Jimmy Croxton.
You see Jack Whelan there looking round at the clock behind him, making sure. He's going to play to try and get the plant on the red, is he? No. There, send the ball round the table to obviously eat up an extra couple of seconds. Good thinking as well.
Oh, cue ball's still spinning.
No.
Jimmy can't even play. Doesn't make any difference, obviously, in the end. Well, Jimmy sees the funny side of it. Warm handshake at the end of the match. It's a match that took a long time to get going. Neither player really settled down in the early going. Very slow first frame. Very slow next couple of frames. But then when it got going, it turned into a good match in the end. Jimmy Croxton played his part in it. Had a good chance to come back into it. But